Out of the pale desert, a mountain of stone rises against the sky, older than almost everything else humans have ever made. For nearly 4,000 years, nothing built by human hands stood taller. It has watched empires come and vanish, and still it endures, vast and silent at the edge of the sand. Before us stands the last surviving wonder of the ancient world. Welcome to the Great Pyramid of Giza. We find ourselves on the Giza Plateau, a shelf of limestone bedrock on the western edge of Cairo. Behind us, the modern city presses close, and beyond it, the Nile flows northward toward the sea. Here on the West Bank, where the ancient Egyptians laid their dead to rest, 3 great pyramids crown the desert. The largest of them, and the reason we have come, is the pyramid built for the pharaoh Khufu. Before us, the plateau opens into a city of the dead, a vast necropolis of tombs, temples, and monuments. 3 pyramids dominate the horizon, raised for Khufu, his son Khafre, and his grandson Menkaure. Around their bases spread smaller queen's pyramids, mastaba tombs in long rows, and the causeways that once linked them to the valley below. Here rises the greatest of them all, the pyramid the Greeks would later count among the 7 wonders. This monument belongs to Khufu, a pharaoh of the 4th dynasty who ruled Egypt in the Old Kingdom, around 2560 before our era. The Greeks knew him as Cheops. For all the scale of what he left behind, the man himself is strangely faint in the record, remembered chiefly through the mountain of stone he commanded into being. To raise such a tomb was to declare that a king was more than mortal, a bridge between the earth and the eternal sky. Numbers here strain belief. The pyramid rose about 146 meters into the air, and it held that record as the tallest structure on Earth for nearly 4,000 years. It is built of roughly 2 1/3 million blocks of limestone, each one a great burden of stone, stacked into a single deliberate shape. Before us, the courses climb one upon another toward a vanished point far overhead. To stand at the base is to feel very small against the ambition of an ancient king. The pyramid we see today is not quite the pyramid that was finished. Once its whole surface was sheathed in smooth white limestone from the quarries at Tura, polished so that it blazed under the sun like a beacon on the plateau. Over the long centuries, that gleaming skin was stripped away, carried off to build the city that grew nearby. What remains is the rough-stepped core, and only near the base of the neighboring pyramid do a few casing stones still cling to hint at that lost brilliance. For all its bulk, the pyramid is a work of astonishing precision. Its 4 sides are set almost exactly to the cardinal directions, north, south, east, and west, an alignment so accurate it still amazes those who measure it. The builders had no compass and no modern instrument, yet they read the sky and the turning stars and laid the base square upon the bedrock. Here, the crude weight of stone meets the fine geometry of the heavens. A long myth held that this wonder was raised by armies of slaves driven under the lash. The evidence tells a different story. It was built by organized crews of skilled Egyptian laborers, fed and housed and paid for their labor, working in rotating teams. Near the plateau, archaeologists have uncovered their town, with bakeries, breweries, and the bones of the great herds that fed them. This was a national effort, the whole kingdom bending its strength to the will of its king. Now we come to the dark mouth in the pyramid's northern face and pass within. The air turns cool and heavy, and the light of the desert falls away behind us. A narrow descending passage bores downward through the masonry and into the living rock below, cut straight and low toward a chamber deep beneath the base. The passage leads into the heart of the mountain, where the noise of the world above cannot follow. Where the descending way plunges down, another passage branches upward into the body of the pyramid. This ascending corridor climbs at a steep angle through the stone, so low and close that the walls seem to press in from either side. Great blocks of granite were once set to seal it, hiding the route to the chambers above. The passage leads on into the dark, toward a space that suddenly opens tall and grand around us. Here the cramped passage gives way to one of the marvels of the ancient world, the Grand Gallery. The walls rise in corbelled steps, each course of stone leaning a little further inward than the one below, until they meet far overhead in a soaring vault. The polished limestone gleams faintly in the gloom, and the sheer craft of the joinery astonishes. This magnificent ramp of stone leads upward toward the sanctuary at the pyramid's core. At the end of the gallery, a low passage brings us into the king's chamber, the solemn heart of the whole design. Here the soft limestone gives way to red granite, quarried far to the south at Aswan and hauled hundreds of miles down the Nile. Massive beams of granite span the ceiling, and above them lie hidden relieving chambers built to carry the crushing weight of the pyramid overhead. The room is bare and severe, a space made for eternity. Against the far wall stands the reason for it all, a great sarcophagus carved from a single block of granite. It is empty now, and has been for as long as anyone can remember, its lid gone and its treasure lost to robbers in the deep past. Whatever it once held vanished long before the first travelers came to wonder at it. Before us sits only the silent stone box, the still center around which a mountain was raised. Deeper in the pyramid structure lies a second room, misnamed the Queen's Chamber by early explorers, though no queen was ever laid there. From both this chamber and the King's Chamber, narrow shafts run outward through the masonry toward the pyramid's faces. Long called air shafts, they may have served the spirit of the king, aimed like arrows at the stars where the dead were thought to journey. The purpose of these slender channels is still argued over today. When the ancient Greeks drew up their list of the 7 wonders of the world, this pyramid was already impossibly old. The others have all crumbled or fallen or been swept away. The Hanging Gardens, the Great Lighthouse, the Colossus, gone. Only this remains, the first wonder to be built and the last to survive. Here rises the single monument that has outlasted every rival the ancient world could offer. And so the light leaves the plateau as it has for more than 4,000 years, and the pyramid stands as it always has, patient and unmoved. Kings and conquerors, travelers and scholars have all passed beneath its shadow and gone, while the stone remains. It is a message from a vanished world, still speaking across the ages in the language of sheer endurance. Thank you for watching. Follow for more interesting people, places, and things we cover on the channel.